Hey, I want to do a short explanation of what I think is happening right now in the world besides all the obvious fuckery. I am seeing people all day, every day, posting about how they're having a hard time staying focused in this reality. And a lot of people are having these senses of doom and like they're falling and things aren't working like they used to. And they're lost and confused and like, what the heck is going on? Okay. And I had a friend that's happening to, and I took a minute to try to explain it. And I was actually able, I think, to explain it in a relatively decent way. So I'm going to try to repeat that if I can, because I sent it in voice text. But the bottom line is this system is collapsing as we speak. Right now, there is a timeline split happening. There might be a better word for what's happening, but that's the easiest way to explain it. As there's several things that are happening. The old grid, okay, we use our minds to basically tune into a consciousness field, a source field, and we pull down information from this source field, and we regularly go back to it, pull down information, go back, pull down information. Where in the field is my favorite shorts? Where in the field is my favorite shirt? Okay, where is my favorite coffee shop? Things like that. So that's how we've operated our whole life. And whatever frequency you are running, that determines what grid, what source code grid you connect to. Well, a couple things have been happening. People like me are system busters, and we came in here to create different grid patterns, to create different consciousness grid, golden grids, basically like consciousness arcs, like Noah's Ark, but for consciousness, so that people would have a different source code, a different grid to connect to as like a lifeline. Why did we do that? Well, for one, the grid that everyone was connecting to was horse crap. It was the false overlay. That's number one. Number two, you needed something to connect to because our avatars are like smartphones. So if the smartphone can't connect to anything, any external like a data or an internet, it can only do like the basic functions. Okay? That's how our avatars work. We have to connect. We remotely connect to a source code. So we built the code, the golden grid for you to connect to, while and because this lower grid is coming apart as we speak. The things that you are used to, the places you're used to going and getting information, they're not there anymore. It's like trying to open a file on your computer that you have deleted. So it's like you're trying to go to that same place that you used to go to connect and tune in, but it doesn't exist anymore. And or parts of its files have the metadata is falling. So it's not whole files anymore. It's like, what's that kind of file that's like, it's like scrambled. I know I'll think of the word as soon as I stop this, but God, I can't think of it. Anyway, it's a partial grid. It's a partial consciousness field. And it's falling apart for several reasons. One of which is that they're working to destabilize humanity and society, right? Their whole entire goal is to destabilize. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, because when you destabilized it, the collective attention was no longer propping up the old grid. It was hard for us to tear down the old grid because it was being propped up by such collective consciousness, collective thought, energy, intention, attention. Well, everything became destabilized. People's patterns changed, their habits changed, what they did every day, their attention, their intention, things started to change because we became so destabilized. Well, that's wonderful, because when that happened, when the destabilization happened, it gave people like me, like us, there's many of us here, we were able to breach basically the firewall, because it was like a split nanosecond where it became so destabilized that we could get in behind it and begin to to cause it to continue to fall apart. So it is falling apart. And this is what part of what you are experiencing. There are infinite permutations of this and many other details that I could discuss and go into. But this is basically the gist of it. So this means that you have to start creating new patterns, start shifting that energy from your belly and seeking for higher ways and higher grids, more pure, more authentic ways of doing things. And it's also forcing you to go inside of yourself to your local hard drive, your local information, your DNA. So you're being forced to go inside of yourself. And this is also new for many people, but it's a really, really good opportunity. I could see this going sideways if people aren't really willing to do the work that it's going to take to make this transition easier. I can recommend just letting go of attachment, all of it, everything. I'm not saying burn your house, crash your car, go into the woods and get a tent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying work on decreasing the attachment to those things. So, okay, you want to come get my car? Come get the fucking car. I don't care. You want to tell me I have to move out of my house? Actually happening right now. Okay, I'm moving out of the house. That ain't nothing but a thing. It ain't nothing but a thing. It's just it's the importance you assign to things. I would stop assigning importance to the earth 3D material realm, this false overlay. I would just start to pull my energy back, go into myself, explore who I am and who I was before this whole matrix told me that I was somebody else. So anyway, longer than I wanted it to go, but I hope it made sense. If you have questions, let me know.